Well, welcome back to another video from the Clark & Addison Gaming Company. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer and creator here at Clark & Addison. And in this video, I have my first unboxing. So I don't typically have any sort of physical products. So it's I don't usually have unboxings. Most of what I sell is PDF. But I am trying to see it and explore any physical products that I can convert my games to that make sense, that won't cost you $200 or something like that, ridiculous to purchase. For me personally, my wife and I have made a decision not to do the traditional print and then sell model, which typically brings the prices down. You print in bulk, you keep them in your garage or in an extra room, and then as people order them, you sell them and send them out. That's the traditional way of doing any sort of business, at least in this country. But print and play is a model where I put the files online, and then you are able to order them printed on demand, which is what I'm going to attempt to do. So this, I had shown in a previous video the first attempt at the printed roster sheet sets for on-base baseball. This is going to be attempt number 2, which I hope is more successful and a better quality. I've gone with the Game Crafter. This is a company that Matt and Craig from Pocket Pennant Run use for their printed components. And essentially, I would give you a link, you would go to the website, you can order any of the components that you want. Some of them are going to be downloads, like the game guide and different things like that. So you'll get some of those components that you can just download from the website as a free download. And then also you would order this printed spiral bound book. And the book is going to have whatever decade roster sheet is appropriate to that season. And then it'll have all of the season stats. So the roster sheets for batters and for pitchers, separated into different sections, and then printed, front and back in a spiral bound book. So this, I have not opened this, you can see. So this could be a huge fail. So I'm printing it, and I'm recording it and not doing it live. The reason that people unbox things before you see them is because they want to make sure that everything is there, what they're expecting is there. So they don't want to leave themselves out there like this. So trusty knife. Let's get right into the unboxing. So let's see what we got here. And I'm hoping for good things. And we'll see how it goes. I don't do scissors. I just go straight to this. My dad was a grocery store manager for most of his life, so the old box cutter is in my history. So this is coming through the USPS. I ordered this back maybe at the end of July, sometime at the end of July. So it comes here. Nice packaging. So it's a very big box for such a small product, but they have lots of packaging in here, so it wasn't going to move around a lot. So there it is, looking sharp. With a nice little bag. I guess you could use the bag as a protective bag as well when you weren't playing. And that looks really sharp. It's a 8x10 is the size, so it's not 8.5 by 11, which would be a little bit taller and a little bit wider, or a little bit less wide. But you can see here that on base, this is the 1980 season with the spiral binding down the left side. The front page is a cardstock, so a little heavier. And then on the inside of that I wasn't expecting that, but it's kind of nice. Printed on the cardstock is the game engine chart. Hopefully you can see that pretty well. So if I can zoom into, this is how I normally, so it's the 1x. So you can see here that everything is printed for you here, and you have all of the different parts at the bottom. You have your batters. I switched over a little bit, pitchers and batters, because you kind of move in the West, we move left to right. So you would look at the pitch, and then I flipped the order of these things. So the column 1 is truly on the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Column 1, 2, 3, 4. So I flipped it around just a little bit for this. And you can see this is the 80s game engine chart. Now you'd be able to download any game engine chart from any era, or any decade, I guess, from the 1940s to today. And then you can play with these players from this era in those different with those different game engine charts. So very nice. And then these pages are glossy, semi-glossy, and then you'd have your batters. And then I chose to go with a portrait orientation. One, this will give us fewer pages, which will cost you less, but also it allows you to just kind of flip the book this way. So the only page really that's going to be in any horizontal orientation is this one, which you're going to be playing off of this most of the time, and maybe it would be more helpful to do it that way with the coils at the top. I'm not sure, but this is pretty all right too. So the batters themselves are here. You can see it starts with the Braves. And essentially, if you've seen these before, you get the season, the player or the team, you have their position, their primary position, how they bat, and then their batting, defense, and speed. Those are your primary values or statistics for the game engine. And then you have all of their actual statistics here. So, this is Jeff Burrows. So plays left field, bats right-handed, 5.8 batting runs. -8 defense, and a 1.7 speed, 263 average, 800 OPS, 353 WOBA, and a 116 weighted runs created plus. So you got Dale Murphy here at a 132, 5.7 WAR, and then you have sort of his baseline counting stats as well. So you can see all the players coming down here. And just a nicely bound. It's super crisp. You even get players down here. This guy, it's Minnie Minoso. He pinch hit in 1980, and he played in 2 games. He had 2 at bats. So you get all the players. You can see here, I'm very familiar with these Royals players, having just played the 1980 playoffs. Familiar with the Yankees. Reggie Jackson with a 49 batting runs. And even you're going to get pitchers, right? So here's Bert Blyleven, 1980. He was a pitcher, right-handed batter, and a -13 batting runs. So pitchers are included as well as the position players. And then it goes all the way down to Toronto. And then you have your pitchers section. Same thing. You have your pitchers. It's got a blank page here, and then it goes right over into the pitching stats again by team, and then sorted by team, and then sorted by, I wanted to say innings pitched, total batters faced. So the pitchers are sorted by team, and then total batters faced. The hitters are sorted by team and number of at-bats, I believe. They don't have plate appearances here, so number of at-bats. So you have your most commonly used players at the top and your most commonly used pitchers at the top. So typically your first few are all going to be your starters because they've obviously faced the most batters. And then you're going to have your kind of tweener relievers, and then you're going to have sort of your short relievers here. You can see that you get the season, the name, the team, how they throw, right or left-handed, their role, primary role, starting pitcher or relief pitcher, I determine that line with 50%. So if you started 50% or more of your games pitched, then you get a starting pitcher designation. If you've started less than 50%, you get a reliever designation. To me, that always seems like a good line of demarcation about who is an actual starting pitcher or not. You get their stamina, and so that tells you how many batters they can go before they need to move a column down. And then we don't do Sierra with these older seasons, but we have FIP. And so the FIP is 385 for Phil Necro. You can see his K percentage and walk percentage. And then you get into his sort of counting stats, his quote unquote normal stats. 40 games pitched, 38 starts, 15 and 18 record with a 3.63 ERA. He pitched in 275. He actually had a save, 275 innings. But we have down here Rick Camp. Is it Rick Camp? Yeah, Rick Camp had 22 saves in how many? 77 games. So we have all the pitchers, including pitchers who got, into very few games. This guy here, Jerry Terrell, pitched in one game, pitched one inning, and he gets included into the stat set. So it's a perfect to use for replays. Now this was a little, he got left over here on the last page. That's not exactly what I was hoping for, but they get left over. This is the card stock. This is the back page of the thing. And so it's the last couple of Blue Jays here who made their way to the back side. So maybe needed to add a blank page there. So, all right. Well, this is really good. I really like this. And so this would be the 1980 season, maybe a couple of tweaks to make, and then I'll put out a link to that, and then you can go and purchase this. I believe it's I set the price at $19.99, and basically you would get the entire season set plus the game engine chart for the 1980s in a very nicely printed set. You can see here, again, this is a regular sheet of paper, so you can see how tall it is, I guess. So it's a little shorter. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's a little shorter than a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and it's a little shorter this way as well. So the page is a little bit smaller than an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, but it does have everything on here that you need. Hopefully you can see that without any glare. And it's printed on decent cardstock here, and it's a little bit glossy, and so that makes it, pages are pretty easy to separate and to turn. They're not getting stuck or anything like that. And essentially what you would do is you would take these values for your starting lineups. You would write their batting, defense, and speed ratings, their position, how they hit, all those different things. You would transfer that onto the score sheet. And on my on-base baseball score sheets have a separate space for each of those values. So you would transfer that over to the score sheet, but you can use any score sheet. You just need to be able to write that in, even if you use Green Fox or use iScore or use something else. You can do those, the digital digital scorekeeping as well, Digital Diamond. It would work with that as well. You just need to have those values set in there. And then you transfer those over, and then you can play your game using the game engine chart, which will be included here. So you'd use the game engine chart with the score sheet, and then when a batter, let's say a batter is a 12 batting runs, you would use this column here, and if he's facing a pitcher in column 1, you would look here first to the pitcher column and see if they're on the roll. Is there a play result? If there is, you take that play result. If it's a blank, then you go over to the batter column. And so there's some just sort of reminders down here about what to do with each of these situations on a sacrifice bunt, on an error check, on stealing and tagging, what a long single is, what to do. For the ground outs and the fly outs, like on the D9, if it's a 1-3 on a fly out, it's to left field, that kind of thing. So just a few little extra kind of reminders and stuff like that with 2 outs. Runners advance 1 extra base on a hit, so they get the number of bases for the hit. So if it's a single, they get 1 base and then plus 1 extra base. So a runner from second will score automatically with a single with 2 outs. That sort of thing. But looking good. I really like this. There's a couple of things I would tweak, I think. I'll just add one. The main thing is adding the 1 blank page to the end. But again, this would be the entire 1980 season. So your entire 1980 season replay would be in this book. You would not need to do anything else. You would basically be buying the 1980 season. Now you don't, I'm still contemplating whether I should give you the cards as well. So if you print this and then I give you the card files that you can download after you purchase this. So if you would like that, there's didn't seem to be much consensus one way or the other on the Facebook page, the Facebook group for Clark and Addison. So you can let me know if you have this printed set of the roster sheets, and you also, would you want also the cards, or would you prefer to have that as like an upgrade purchase? So for an extra $5 or $10, you can purchase the cards as well. And then you would have that digital download for the cards. Excuse me, now the cards will not be printed like this. I think the card printing would be astronomical. I'm not exactly sure because I haven't priced it with this company, but I have priced it with other companies before, and it's upwards of $140 for just 900 players, which a lot of sets from the older times are going to be 900 or less. But like a modern era is going to be, I did 2023 just recently for Precision Baseball, and that's almost 1,500 players. So carding every single player in that instance gets to be quite expensive for you. I mean, if I provide a file and you just print them, it's not nearly as expensive. But if you get a printed version of them, it can be quite expensive if it's print on demand. That's why people do the printing, storing, and then shipping them to you. That's just not something that our family wants to do. And I think it's awesome for other companies to do that, and they'll continue to lead the way probably because they provide that service. But for me, I would like to find a print on demand version that I could have everyone be able to print cards if you want to, and then they ship them to you in the mail. But right now, I can provide this, which is a whole season, and I can do this for any of my seasons and just port this over to a book. So I can do this for any of my seasons that I have available, all the way from 1941 all the way through to 2023 at this point. And then you would have the roster sheet sets like this in printed form. And then I can also provide the cards because I have the card files, and I can sort of attach those to the purchase so that if you purchase this, you either get it, or would you prefer to have just purchase this and be able to download the game guide, and then if you wanted to get the cards, you could, but not necessarily. Like that would be an extra kind of an upgrade charge to do the cards as well. So what do you think would be best for you personally? And then I'll continue to look into the viability of like how many cards would be viable. It'd be awesome to know like what you would expect to pay for a card set. I know if you get ABBA and Strat and some of those, I mean, it could be upwards of $100+ per season. So, which is what you would be looking at here, even if I cut the set down just a little bit to like 30 players per team. You know, maybe if you went 25 per team, you could get it up around $100 or something like that. But just have to check that out and see how that would go. But essentially, you would have the entire. This was the 1980 season, and that is all obviously put together because I ordered this book. So you would have that in a nice spiral bound book, and again, apparently it comes with this Ziploc bag, and this would be a nice little holder. If you bought multiple seasons, I guess you could line them up like a collection of comic books or something. But that would protect the outside when you wanted to like bring it out and play it again. So that's a nice little protector that comes. Excuse me, a nice little protector that comes with the game. So that was a bonus and unexpected, but very pleased with that. I was hoping it would turn out well. There's a couple of little tweaks. I think most notably adding a blank page here, because this is the very last page and it shouldn't have these guys printed. So I don't think it'll cost an extra to put a blank page in there. So I'll just put this on a last flimsy page. I'd hate to cut people out because he did have 26 innings pitched. So Mike Willis, if you were trying to do a replay and you wanted to add him in, or maybe Mike Willis is your uncle or your favorite player or something like that, and you want to make sure he was in the game, I wouldn't want to just cut him out. So that's why I put them into I had to intentionally create a new file just with those two on it to add to the game. So I'll put that extra page in there, and when I'm finished, I'll make sure that I send this out to everyone, and that you'll have access to this. You can go through and you can pay. Again, I said it's $19.99. I think I paid maybe $7 or so for the shipping, but essentially under $30 you would have. I want to say under 30. I guess it depends on where you live in the United States, but depending on your shipping costs, it would be anywhere between $25 and $35. That's sort of conservative. I don't know what it would be. You just have to see for yourself. So for me, a really cool deal, and I'll do a video showing how you can work with it and use it, and how you would actually transfer everything and play a game using this roster sheet set. So that's pretty cool. So now we have a printed product. So for the first time, people can actually do an unboxing video, or you can just have the joy of unboxing something from the Clark and Addison Gaming Company, and that would be that'd be pretty awesome to have. So I'll share that link when it's ready. We just released Precision Baseball, so I'm going to let you guys know now. I've done kind of a soft launch to my Facebook group, but you can go to clarkandaddisongaming.com and you can order the 2023 season for Precision Baseball. So it is out and available. I've got a couple of things I need to tweak on it. Really just a chart that I need to add for pickoffs in the game guide. So I'll try to get that done before the weekend, and I'll have an official quote-unquote launch this weekend and get that in there. I just wanted to release it early to my Facebook group for the Clark and Addison Gaming Company. If you want to join that, you can go to Facebook groups, look up Clark and Addison Gaming Company, answer a few questions because it's a private group, and then get in there. There's files, there's games that are in the file section that you can download that you can't get necessarily anywhere else. They were a group who had access to demo files. I'd been talking about it for a long time here on the YouTube channel, but you can go there, and any sort of demos that I do, the files are going to be there in the file section. Any sort of game resources I create. I've got free games or games in the past that I just haven't, they're finished, but I've never released them as, published or anything. And I'll be putting those on there. Also, I ask questions like I just told you, about asking questions about, what would you want? And typically these are people who are interested in the games that I make. So if you're interested in what I'm doing, I've got baseball, football, and basketball games with some others like golf maybe on the way. And just, what do you think? Would you like this or that? Or tell me what you think about this logo, or asking different questions, marketing kind of questions as well. So just trying to glean some insight. We're over 50, I think maybe around 60 members in the Facebook group now. You can post your own game replays, which some people do. Max from Max's Cards and Dice on YouTube, he's replaying 74-75 ABA with up-tempo basketball, so you might have seen him online. And he'll post there his new videos and things like that, so you always kind of know when things are happening. And then other people, Kevin Elias posts there sometimes whenever he's playing quick play baseball. So, and I'm posting there first. So whatever replays I'm doing, you're going to get the videos there first before any of the other groups are going to get a shot at that. So if you're here as part of the subscriber base on YouTube, you're going to get that immediately. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, then you can get it through the Facebook group as well. And if you want to reach out to me ever, you can connect with me on email. So clarkandaddisongaming@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me on Messenger if you're on Facebook and send a quick message. So either way, you can also go to the contact form at clarkandaddisongaming.com. That contact form comes to the same email address. So if you prefer just kind of going through the website, or you feel yourself getting stuck, or you have a question about a game that you're looking at on the website, feel free to send me an email and just ask me, hey, I have a quick question about this game. How does this work? Or what's this mechanic? Or does this game have this? I get those questions usually once a week or so. I have someone asking a question about a game and how it works. So don't feel shy about that. Just send it in. I'm happy to get back to you, usually sometimes within minutes, usually within a day. I'll get back to you on those questions. So we're going to wrap this video up. This is the 1980 season for On Base Baseball. Again, it has you can see the game engine chart, and then all of the players are rated for On Base Baseball. All the batters and the pitchers are rated for On Base Baseball. And this nicely bound, spiral bound book. And essentially you would just have the entire 1980 season at your fingertips. You can put it on your shelf, you can put it in your bag, you can take it with you where you're going. And then if you combine that with the online dice roller that I have for On Base Baseball, you'll have your 2d6s and your d9 and be able to play to your heart's content. So if you don't have the online version, you want to roll traditional dice, all you need is a couple of d6 dice. They don't have to be different colors, and you can roll with a d10, or if you happen to have a d9, which I don't, you can roll with a d10. So super easy and quick game to play. It's a full play game, but it plays really quickly like APA Basic. And after a while, you kind of get to where some of the results you'll begin to memorize, like even different column results, like for the pitchers, you'll begin to think, okay, 36 is a walk, right? Okay, so it'll speed up the game just a little bit. And most gamers can play in 20 to 25 minutes after they've gotten sort of accustomed to the rhythm. 23s, 25s, 16s. Is there another one? It's mostly those. 23, 25, 16, 24 sometimes, depending on the season or the decade chart that you use. Those are sort of things that kind of, a 12 is a common one that comes up, and it's always a ground out with a runner advance. So there are some common plays that come up often enough that kind of help to speed up the game as well. And if you have any questions about On Base Baseball itself, I've got a playlist on this channel. You can watch the 1980 playoffs, which I just finished, or you can go right to the On Base Baseball playlist, and you can see lots of different games, not just from 1980, but other seasons as well. All right, I think that's it from here. If you have not subscribed, click on subscribe. If you find yourself coming back here all the time, just click on subscribe and you'll get notified whenever new videos are posted, either through email or on the subscriptions page at your YouTube home. And you'll just kind of know when new things are posted, because it'll be posted right there. If you like this video and you like what we're doing, just give it a thumbs up. It's a super easy way for you to contribute, to help to push things forward with the Clark and Addison Gaming Company. And you can also purchase seasons at clarkandaddisongaming.com. So go to the website. The new 1980 season here is available there, so you can just get it as print and play. Everything is PDF, so if you want to do that, you can get that there. You get the roster sheets and the cards, the carded players. You get everything with that print and play purchase. There's no need to purchase anything else. With On-Base Baseball, you get everything you need in the purchase itself. So each season is sort of self-contained. You don't have to purchase game components as well. And you can download the 1941 season for free. That is in the free section, and that serves as sort of the demo of the game. And so you can get Jolton Joe DiMaggio and Ted Williams and Whitey Ford, all these like big time old players, and you can download them. You have all the cards, you have all the roster sheet sets, and then you can play out whatever you want with that full 1941 season and get that totally free. Otherwise, seasons cost $15, so they're very economic, and you get every player. I think every player with at least 10. You know what? I think you get every player. I might have made sure that it was at least one plate appearance and one 10 batters faced, maybe something like that. I can't remember what the cutoffs were for the pitchers, but I'm pretty sure it's at least one plate appearance for the batters. So they're great and terrific for even very deep replays or draft leagues. And you get basically every player that got into a game that season. I don't think there's anything else. Again, I'll make sure that I post this link whenever this is ready. If you join the Facebook group, you'll definitely get the link first. If you're on any other baseball or sports simulation groups, you'll get that link as well on Facebook. And I think I'm going to try to kick up on Delphi a little bit more. I created a Clark and Addison Gaming profile, and I think I'm going to try to kind of get over there just a little bit more. Be sort of judicious about my interactions there. They haven't been the best over the years. It's a more traditional group, and they don't necessarily like these less traditional type games. So I tended to kind of shy away from being over there, but I can see still a lot of activity happening over there, and I want to make sure that those guys know about what's happening with On-Base Baseball too, especially now that there's a printed product. I think it might appeal a little bit more to them. But I thank you for your participation in the company, any thoughts you've given. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments section. Anytime you've ever made a purchase, it is encouraging to me that I can continue forward. People are still looking forward to things that I'm doing. Sometimes it doesn't always kind of feels like you're talking into the ether and nobody's listening, or making games and nobody's playing. So it's hard to know sometimes. With other games, it's a little bit easier because they're more vocal about it, but I know that there's an unvocal majority. Most people aren't posting videos and posting their results and stuff like that, but I know that there's a lot of people who are gaming. So just a little quick check-in to say, hey, love what you're doing, thanks. That's super helpful for me, just as an encouragement that I'm not wasting my time here, because I love to create the games. I love to make new games and think about new ways of doing things, but I've got a life, and I don't want to be wasting it. I want to be helping people have fun, really, is what I'm trying to do, and to give them kind of a new experience in this hobby. So all that to say thank you, and I appreciate you, and tell everybody about what we're doing. And now I'm going to have printed materials. And once this begins to work out, I'll create more seasons as we go along with the roster sheet sets. So that'll be super helpful going forward. And I'll keep exploring other products and other games that we can provide in a format that's appropriate, but also printed. That way people can have a nice, like a bound book or nicely printed pages, that type of thing. Maybe it's appropriate to do play action football in some sort of printed format. We'll just have to see about that. All right, I think that's it from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.